to my homie, Mahomes Skillet Biscuit, my homeboy. The man has 3 rings in 5 years, back to back. Has almost every postseason record for the Chiefs, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to look all of them up, but I know he has a lot of them. And the man's nowhere near done, right? He's nowhere near finished with this resume that he's building. He's not the GOAT yet, but I mean, he's making a very strong claim with a lot of time left to do it.
Yeah.
Where exactly is he now? Because I don't know if football is weird because I don't know if the GOAT conversation for football is limited to the quarterback position.
Yeah.
I feel like it typically is, though. Like when you have the GOAT conversation, it's almost synonymous with quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
But even if we just, not to try to make it super general, even if we leave it specific to quarterbacks just for clarity, has he passed everybody but Brady?
No, for me, I think
Who hasn't he passed?
Oh, well, in terms of like accolades, I mean, like not everybody has 3 rings out there. That is like Brady and him. But like in terms of quarterback play over a long period of time, I'm still gonna take, I think, Peyton Manning personally.
Interesting.
That's super interesting.
I think A-Rod was the only other, like, I think Aaron Rodgers is a homer bet, like where like, but Peyton Manning's one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time. I think Aaron Rodgers is right there too, but
so I disagree with Peyton only because Mahomes has the rings to eclipse Peyton on whatever.
Peyton has 2, and then what? Mahomes has 3, right?
Mahomes has 3. He has 3 Super Bowl MVPs. Does Mahomes have a regular season MVP?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm wrong on this one.
But
this is my
He's 28, y'all.
Yeah.
28.
The only thing I will say, I think if we are talking about what we've seen at the quarterback position, I think that the reason that Aaron Rodgers would not be a name that you could probably say he like definitely clears is because literally the only thing stopping Aaron Rodgers from being not untouchable, but like being like almost locked in at 2 when most things are said and done is because he only has the 1 ring. And because he's had the opportunities to get more rings and he's fell short. And that may be the reason why some people actually will put Mahomes over him. However, the only reason that I would think it's more of a conversation is because I think if you had put Rodgers in a situation where he walked into the team that Mahomes kind of inherited, may have been a different story. That's a huge if. That's a huge if and shoulda, coulda, woulda situation. But I think A-Rod's name stays in the mix because he has what, 3 or 4 regular season MVPs? 3?
I think
At least 3. Might be 4, but at least 3. And he's had some numbers and some statistical seasons that are pretty insane. Like I said, the only knock against Rodgers at this point is his missed opportunities at a ring and even getting to the Super Bowl at that, because he hasn't made another Super Bowl. But I still think if you're arguing from a number standpoint, at least from a hardware standpoint of what matters, if you were to say that Mahomes is over him, I don't really have an argument outside of speaking to being a Green Bay fan, honestly. So I don't know. I don't think there's another quarterback like when you with 3 rings now. I don't know. I don't know if there's another quarterback that you can really say he hasn't passed, because who else has that resume? And then when you add the time frame that he's done that in, that's really what makes it scary.
Yeah.
Joe Montana, Tom Brady, and Pat, I believe, are the only 3 quarterbacks with 3+ Super Bowl MVPs.
I think that's about right.
Yeah. So he's there in
elite company.
Yeah.
Very elite company.
I think where I was going with my argument in terms of like who they are as players. I just think that we still have more to see from Pat, which isn't a knock. It isn't a knock at all. I just think that we were able to see, moments of greatness from those two quarterbacks that go beyond a Super Bowl. I think that's what I'm trying to say in terms of like just players themselves. I think they both were given less and still exceeded expectations. Like Peyton Manning was doing with the Colts team that was very good. The Broncos team was loaded for him too defensively. I think, just in terms of seeing a quarterback of their caliber, like call shots before the play was even about to happen. I think I'm just going back to nostalgia. Take me back there in terms of like who they were as QBs, but it's not like Patrick Mahomes isn't able to do any of that or cannot make the throws that Aaron was able to make with the same type of like pre-snap play calling that we see from Peyton. So I think it's honestly between Tom and Mahomes. I just think that I just want to see more from him because like the back half of his career could be miserable, and then we could be talking about like a QB that had it all at the beginning and then just couldn't put it together in his last few years. I just don't think that we see that. Even though teams are getting close, it's still Pat versus everyone else.
Is that the more you want to see from him? Like the back end of his career? Like
Yeah,
what more?
I think with what he has in his career, he's still up there. Like he's a top 5 solidified quarterback of all time, which is synonymous with like top 5 NFL player of all time, truly. It's just like if it all goes down the shitter, it's just like then that would just really just only take away from what he's done, but it's hard to take away from what he's already accomplished.
Yeah.
You'd have to be doing like some career fumbling to really like take away from his stature of where he is.
No, agreed. Absolutely. And then last thing on Mahomes, I'll say is I think that everybody's so scared to kind of cement it because we have no idea what will happen in the rest of his career. And there could be, like, God forbid, any unfortunate circumstances, but like there could be something that hinders him from, getting the stats to, be solidified as the best. But I'll say this. What he's done in 6 or 7 seasons, 6, I think, what he's done in 6 seasons, if he doesn't slow down, like if he doesn't hit a dud in his career, if he doesn't hit some type of stretch where he's just not competing or whatever the case may be, this may be the quickest rise to that title that we've ever seen. True. Like, if he's done it, just imagine him having a similar 6 years after this.
I want to say I saw on SportsCenter today that he is the quickest to get 3 titles in a major American league. So that's including NBA, MLB, NHL. That
he's nuts.
Yeah.
It's pretty insane.